Since the new change in school, we've set up a social club. Has that made any difference to Isabel?
Oh, definitely, because the big thing for Isabel was to have friends. And as I said earlier, I find for Isabel, they're kind of the lost children. They're not disabled enough for a lot of groups, but they can't cope with mainstream. So yeah, the social club has been brilliant because she's with children of her own abilities, and it's her friends from school, just like a normal child would be. She's getting out there now with her friends.
And I remember it came about because of a parent support group, the social club did, and the bit the parents were worried about is about having people the children knew in these youth services after school. Is that better for...
Oh, definitely. They need people like yourself then that they recognise, that they feel safe with, because to go somewhere that they don't know people, that's too much for them. They might have got their friends, but they need an adult that they can turn to and they feel safe with, I think.
And do you think having a key worker is helped you with Isabel when you've had issues with school?
Hugely, knowing that you're there and I can ring you, and sometimes you think, oh, this is trivial, I can't ring and say this, or you know, just knowing I can pick up the phone and it's Julia and I know Julia and it's fine, it makes a huge difference. I think every child with needs like Isabel should have a key worker, definitely.
Excellent. I think it's helped, you know, the parent support group. I think that's helped where you've been to those, and I think it's helped our relationship without the children.
Yes. Our
relationship build, so that when it comes to ringing about something you think may be trivial, you don't mind ringing.
Well, no, it humanises everybody.
Yeah.
You're no longer a teacher, you're a friend.
Yeah.
And I think that is really important, and I think it's important that the parents have all got to know each other, so we all know the little things I might have thought was trivia, but it's nice to know Bethany's mother thinks it's trivia as well, but together we realise, yeah, we go and talk to Julia.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, brilliant.
And as a result of this social club, there's also a newsletter that came out, the parent support group. Do you find that helpful?
Fantastic. It's brilliant. There is so many little things in there I didn't know about. I didn't know places we could take Isabel, things like that. There's nowhere out there that tells you those things. So to have the newsletter, and it's nice when the newsletter comes home and it's something about something they've done in the social club, and they're so proud to bring the newsletter home and say, look, this is me on there. Yeah, that's a really good idea. It's a good way of keeping in touch when maybe you can't get to the social club then.
Because of work and things, you
know,
obviously.
Yes, yeah.
People can't make every time.
That's right, and you know, it's still that little bit of contact then. It's a really good idea.
What other things have you been really pleased about in terms of having, you talked about knowing you can pick up the phone and ask something that's, you know, minor or trivial, and that's great, because sometimes you think, oh no, I won't ring because they'll think I'm silly or whatever, and they won't, you know. What other things have really been sort of really positive from your experience in having sort of Julia?
For having Julia,
yeah, having a
it's little things. I mean, Isabel's taking part in the show now this week, and she's in with the mainstream kids, which is it's a big thing for a child from the unit. But Julia gets involved with it, so I know that if Isabel finds it all too much and needs to get out for 5 minutes, Julia's there. And I don't know, it's just Julia as a person, I think. She's very approachable, and if Isabel has a funny 5 minutes, it becomes nothing, because Julia will deal with it, and the other kids don't sort of go, oh gosh, what's she doing? Julia's there, and it's dealt with, and that's...
She had an injection the other day, didn't she?
Oh, yes.
And she didn't like the idea, so I went in with her. But I think that's come from us talking, and you
know more
letting me know more about Isabel at home.
Yes.
Not just what she's like in school, what she's like at home as well, so I know her as a whole person.
Yes, I think so. I
that
think
helped.
it's the communication channels, whereas over the years, perhaps especially for children in units, they go into schools that aren't close to home, so they're having transport, and you're not standing at the school gate, or you're not popping in to see the teachers, and you don't get the communication channels open, if you like. And I think now with the social club and with coming to the school, yes, definitely the communication channels are open, and yes, it isn't, oh, the teachers, it's, oh, just ring Julia now, and it's having a chat in the social club and things like that. It's much easier to talk about Isabel, and you've got to know Isabel, and you know about the dog and her brother, and that's wonderful.
Thinking about how old is Isabel now?
14.
She's 14, so she's starting the transition process.
That's right.
Have you thought about the future and what that might mean?
Yes, it's something that once again, I probably work with Julia and the school as to what's going to happen for her future. We're kind of looking at what courses she can do that will help her in the future. It's quite scary because there isn't a lot of information out there that's freely available just to a parent. But I think we'll get through it. With the support of the school, I think we're going to be fine. I think Isabel will... she'll go with the flow. You've got to meet Isabel to know anything, haven't you?
Yeah.
So what one thing, you know, for you stands out? What thing have you learnt about, you know, having this sort of key worker in your life that's there at the end of the phone?
Well, I think Julia's sort of given us loads of information, things we didn't know about. Even though Isabel's had a social worker assigned to her, we've had limited contact. And to be honest, I say Julia's been more of a social worker to Isabel than the social worker, because she's helped us with what's out there and what's available to Isabel.
Doing the doing.
Yeah, and that's a really big thing, is knowing what's out there. And, you know, Julia's just been fantastic. She's been a really big help to us.
So in terms of your experience previously to compare to where you are now?
It's been a huge difference. I mean, Isabel came... She's always had a lot of support in Sandfields. In her last school, it was a lovely little village school and they were lovely to her and it was really, really nice. But I think Julia's been able to point us in the direction of things that are available to her outside of school. I kind of know what lessons are available to her. I know what Isabel can do, but I didn't know where Isabel could go after school or what was available to her that way. And that's been the big change for us, especially as she's getting to an age as a teenager. She needs to be getting out there. She doesn't need to be with mum all the time. So yeah, that's been a huge thing for us.